5 things that I have sacrificed in order to chase my goals as a man in his early 20s. So I think a lot of people want the same things, but I think the main things that differentiate those who get it and those who just talk about going after what they want are a few things. But I think the main thing is sacrifice, and I think that most people are not willing to sacrifice the small little fun things that everyday people do. And I feel like I've sacrificed just about all of them in order to chase after my goals. And I think a lot of people will see it as sad or boring or uneventful or too extreme. But those are the people who never achieve anything monumental. So the first thing I would say that I've sacrificed is just any form of like fun. And by fun, I mean anything recreational, watching football games, watching Netflix, going to the movies, eating out with friends, going to Topgolf, shooting guns, anything that's just not, necessary, just anything that's fun. I've definitely sacrificed all of that, and I have no problem with it, because all that stuff bores me anyways. Like, every time I end up doing some of that stuff, in the past, I would try to do some of that stuff because you're, quote, supposed to, and I would always just think to myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not where I want to be in life, and yet here I am, having fun, and I don't really feel like I deserve it. Not like some dark, deep way where, oh, you can't have fun, you shouldn't be celebrating this and that. It's just like, okay, if I'm not where I want to be in my life, and I know that I have potential to get to where I want to go, and I do have the ability to say no and work really hard and set goals, then why am I out on a Tuesday night eating pizza? This is an example. So for me, I would rather sacrifice having that fun, spend that time working and improving myself, rather than celebrating something I haven't achieved yet, which is what I kind of see some of those things as. So the first thing is just going to be fun. The second thing is going to be friendships. So I wouldn't say I don't have any friends, but I have a very limited number. I really only have like one friend, and I met him at work. So friendships, because one, most people, and I'm not saying I'll be like this forever, it's just an age thing because I am young. Most people in their early 20s just aren't gonna add any form of value to my life. In fact, I feel like most of them will just subtract. They'll start drama, they'll have issues with the woman they're seeing, they'll complain, they'll be negative. A lot of them do drugs and drink. They're worried about things that don't matter, like the news or stuff on the internet or celebrity drama, like just stuff I don't care about at all. And I'm not saying that I won't be friends with people who are different than me temperamentally, because I really don't expect to find a bunch of people who are like me in the way that they want to work and do a bunch of stuff like that. Because I know it's not really realistic, but I don't want to surround myself with a bunch of people who are going to drag me down just because I can't handle being alone. And I think a lot of people have friends out of convenience and to solve for their loneliness because they can't sit with themselves and their own thoughts. And for me, that's just never been an issue. I actually really enjoy being alone. I'm a big solitude person. So what I'm not going to do is surround myself with people who I have nothing in common with just to say I have friends and just to look or feel important. I think that's stupid, quite honestly. And then the third thing, this is probably one of the harder ones, but I don't really talk to my family a whole lot, and that kind of goes into friendships, but I would say family/relationships. days, I might just stay home, get some sleep. I don't know. So the first one was fun, the second one was friendships, the third one I would say is family. You know, and I think a lot of people will hear that one and be like, alright, that's too far, like when you're older you're gonna regret that. You know, and maybe I will, but it's not forever, man. It's just so I can get to where I want to go. And that's the thing, it's like when you get to where you're trying to go and you achieve the thing that you set out to do, and you've made all these certain sacrifices to get there, you can instantly revert any and all of the sacrifices you made if you're satisfied and have found a way to maintain your current level of success. Right? So if I achieve what I've been trying to achieve, at that point, I'm like, alright, well, I can spend more time with my family now. You know, it's not a hard trade to make. So I don't see it as like, oh, it's so detrimental or regretful. I think it's just part of the price to pay in order to have the time and intention and bandwidth to do what I'm trying to do. And at the same time, it's like, I'm 22, bro. Like, what can I really be dealing with my parents that's so significant anyways? You know, you gotta have about 0 to 18 to really get to know your parents and celebrate life with them. But up until that point, they're kind of just like mature friends that you know. That's my opinion, right? The fourth thing I would say I've sacrificed in order to get to my goals, I would say, is probably relationships. I don't want to get too personal here, but I was just recently in a relationship. Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I decided to end that so that I could chase my goals. That's not what happened, but the relationship did come to an end. I'm not going to say why or how, but at this point, what I'm saying is I've made the decision to not pursue or entertain any form of a relationship with a woman currently, because I'd rather just focus on what I'm doing. And kind of like the friendships, I see a lot of women as just distractions. Not because women are bad or something like that, but just because, again, the age thing. I think a lot of women who are at 21, 22, or just in their early 20s in general, are probably thinking pretty similar. And if they're not, man, they're busy with college doing their own thing, you know. It's just like we're not going to have a lot of time to hang out anyway, so. Again, that's one of the harder ones. I think everyone wants a companion or someone they can share their life with, but again, that's not something that I struggle with being alone. I really like it, and I feel a lot more productive when I'm by myself anyway, so. What I would hate is to be with someone and feel like I have to sacrifice my goals in order to maintain the relationship. I would rather sacrifice relationships in order to maintain my goals. But that's a trade I'm willing to make, and I'm not saying that any of these things I'm sacrificing are things that you have to sacrifice. And then the fifth one, I would say, is my time. I'm sacrificing an extraordinary amount of my time in order to get to where I want to go currently, right? As I've talked about in my other videos, I'm working a crazy amount of hours. To me, it's just a price to pay to get to where I'm going, but people would call it crazy. That's why I put the quotations. But again, like, it's not really a sacrifice because I enjoy working. I enjoy getting to the destination. It's a part of what it takes, you know. And I think the 5 things I've listed and the 5 things that I think most people who become successful in the way that I'm talking about also sacrifice the same 5 things for a temporary amount of time in order to achieve their goals. I don't think that these are random things. I think they're things that everyone does and enjoys and wonders why, after having all these obligations, that they can't achieve what they're trying to achieve. But anyways, those are the 5 things that I have sacrificed and will continue to sacrifice for a season of my life in order to achieve my goals. Again, like I say in the other videos, if there's anything specifically you guys would like for me to see and talk about, let me know below in the comments and I will definitely cover it. So out tomorrow.